The ugly tree. A long time ago, in a dense and vibrant forest, thousands of tall, graceful trees stood side by side. Their branches reached towards the sky, their leaves rustled in the wind like a melodious song, and their trunks were straight and strong. This forest was not just a place of beauty but also home to countless birds, animals, and insects. Amidst these proud and beautiful trees stood one odd tree. Its trunk was bent and twisted, its branches gnarled and crooked, and its bark was rough and uneven. The tree looked nothing like the others, and because of its strange appearance, it was often mocked by its neighbors. "Look at you, hunchback," sneered a tall pine tree one morning. "Who would ever want to rest under your shade?" giggled a slender birch tree. "You'll never have birds nesting in your branches," said an oak tree with a smirk. The crooked tree sighed deeply and tried to ignore their words. It wasn't its fault it looked this way. Every day, it listened to the jeers and laughter of the other trees and wondered why it was created so differently. One moonlit night, a soft breeze blew through the forest. The crooked tree looked up at the starry sky and whispered, "Oh God, why did you make me this way? I cannot provide shelter like the others, nor can I host nests for little birds. I am useless, unwanted, and unloved." Nearby, an old owl sitting on a branch overheard the tree's lament. "Little one," the owl hooted softly, "every creation has a purpose. Sometimes, we only understand it when the time is right." The crooked tree listened, but it couldn't find comfort in the owl's words. The arrival of the woodcutter. Days passed, and the rainy season gave way to the dry months. One afternoon, the peaceful forest was disturbed by heavy footsteps and the sound of metal clanging. A woodcutter had entered the forest, carrying a sharp axe over his shoulder. He was a strong man with determined eyes and a weather-worn face. "This forest has some fine wood," the woodcutter said aloud, examining the tall, straight trees. "These trunks will fetch me a good price in the market." The trees stood frozen in fear. They had never felt so vulnerable before. With every swing of his axe, a tree came crashing down. Thud! Thud! The once proud trees were falling one after another. Birds flew away in panic, and squirrels darted to safety. "Oh no!" cried a beautiful maple tree. "He's coming towards us." "We're doomed," wailed another tree. As the woodcutter approached the crooked tree, he paused. He placed his hands on his hips and tilted his head as he studied it. "What an ugly tree," he said aloud. "Its wood is useless. I can't make furniture or strong planks out of this crooked trunk." With a shrug, the woodcutter turned away and walked towards another straight tree, raising his axe once more. The crooked tree couldn't believe its luck. Its twisted branches shook gently in the breeze as if sighing in relief. The owl perched nearby gave a knowing nod. "See? Even what seems like a flaw can sometimes become a blessing. A new purpose." After the woodcutter left, the crooked tree began to notice things it hadn't before. Birds began to rest on its crooked branches, finding comfortable nooks to build their nests. A family of squirrels made their home in one of the deep hollows in its trunk. One day, a group of weary travelers passed through the forest. The sun was scorching, and they were desperate for shade. They approached the crooked tree and rested beneath its bent branches, grateful for the shelter it offered. "Ah, this tree is perfect," one traveler said. "Its crooked branches spread out just right for us to sit comfortably," said another. The crooked tree felt something it had never felt before, pride. It realized that, despite its unusual appearance, it had a purpose. It could still offer shade, shelter, and a safe haven to those who needed it. Seasons passed, and the crooked tree continued to thrive. Its once empty branches were now filled with life, birds, animals, and travelers found comfort and safety in its embrace. The laughter of the other trees no longer bothered it. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, the crooked tree looked out at the forest. It realized that it was exactly where it was meant to be, and just the way it was meant to be. The owl, now much older, perched on one of its branches and hooted softly, "Well, my friend, it seems you've found your place in this world." The crooked tree swayed gently in the wind, feeling truly happy for the first time in its life. Moral of the story: every creation has a purpose. What may seem like a flaw or imperfection to one can turn out to be a hidden blessing. We should never compare ourselves to others or blame our Creator for our differences because, in the end, everything happens for a reason.